Now we have two
The
videos.
hand, no, he doesn't.
Oh,
He
I'm
doesn't
like,
like nice, quiet.
Nice vision.
the
Like-
American.
Hardly.
No, you have a handsome face.
Yeah, they say that when you go to Europe, oh, you must be American. Okay. So, now up to the neck. I'm inspecting the neck for tracheal deviation, right? Easiest way to check tracheal deviation is find the sternal notch, which I think we were talking about today, right? And then put your two fingers on either side to see whether the trachea is right in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to do lymph nodes. Let me do this from one side and then the other. Okay. Lymph nodes, the biggest thing is just have a system. It doesn't matter what system, you can start at the bottom, work your way up, you can go around and then go down, I don't care. As long as you have a system, so you won't leave any out, okay? I usually start with the preauriculars and the postauriculars, and then I come back to the occipitals, and then the tonsillar ones are usually right around the angle of the jaw. Submandibular, submental, submandibular, submental, anterior cervical chain, posterior cervical chain. Deep cervical chain is underneath the sternocleidomastoid, so I might grab it and feel under there. Same thing over here. And then supraclavicular. And because he's got a shirt, I'm going to do one side and then the other. Okay? So you use this part of your fingers, mostly flat, not like this, but in a motion like this usually. Depends on exactly where you are with the motion. Okay, so I'm going to
One more time.
I'm going to do it from the other side. Okay? So,
I'm going back.
start preauricular, postauricular, occipital. And I usually use, for that I use a lot of my hand, because I want, it could be anywhere in here. They're not just like right here, right? So I'm going to use this whole surface so I make sure I find them. Tonsillar, right in the angle of the jaw. Submandibular, submental, submandibular, submental, anterior cervical, posterior cervical. The deep ones, here's the sternocleidomastoid muscle, right? I might get underneath that. One side at a time. Why?
I'd freak out if you did both.
Some
What
kind of
else?
receptor?
Yeah, there's a receptor. Good, you heard me. You heard me in lab. What hangs out here in the carotid? Baroreceptors, the carotid bodies, right? So if I push on both of those simultaneously, it doesn't happen often, but it can happen that you drop the blood pressure. And the next thing you know, the patient's horizontal on the table and you didn't intend that. That's never a good feeling.
Do you want us to know the limit of the triangle? Are they gonna ask us
Triangle,
question on
no.
that? Oh,
It's not on the paper, you're not gonna be asked.
okay.
Should you ask them, should you tell them the names of the nodes as you go?
Don't have to, as long as you cover them.
Oh, okay, as long as you
Now,
know. where-
sometimes, especially with something like this, you know, I'm looking at the paper, I'm looking at you, I'm trying to check things off. I might ask you to go back and do something. Often that's because I just didn't see it and I can't be sure. It might be that you did it wrong and someone's trying to send, you know, hand you a lifeline. So if you're asked to do it again, take a second and think about it first, just to make sure that it's not that they're trying to say something's missing. But oftentimes it's just that we're too busy trying to look at both things and we can't quite follow everything. Especially people who really gotten so they can do it like this. Okay, so we did nodes. Now we're going to do thyroid. Okay? So, remind myself what we're at. So thyroid, you can find two ways. You can start at the thyroid cartilage that has the little notch.
Did it
Move
stop?
down to the cricoid cartilage and then go below that to find the isthmus. And then the gland should be on either side. Okay? Or, I was taught to start at the clavicle and then just lay 3 fingers above it, and it's, most of the time it's there. Find the isthmus, find the gland. Now I'm going to displace to one side and feel this one. Then I'm going to displace to the other side, feel this one. And then I'm going to ask him to swallow. Is there any more? Right?
Can you do that again, please?
Yes.
When you ask him to swallow, what are you touching? I didn't see you touching it.
Okay, so I had my fingers, I had already kind of located the thyroid, and now I'm feeling as he swallows, the thyroid slides up underneath my fingers. So if I'm trying to differentiate between a nodule and the thyroid and a lymph node, the lymph node won't move when he swallows. but the thyroid should slide up and down with the trachea. Okay, so that helps me figure out whether it's thyroid I'm feeling or something else. Okay, so one more time, you up for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, one more time, I'm gonna get to the, more or less to the general area where it should be, either by counting down or by coming up from the clavicle, whichever way. I find the isthmus, which is kind of a, feels like firm jello inside a water balloon, kind of, right along here. And then I know that the thyroid gland's on either side. I'm just placing a little bit into this hand to feel it, and then I just place a little bit to the other hand to feel it. Once I'm pretty sure I know where it is and I have a sense of what it feels like, I ask them to swallow, please, and I feel it move under my fingers. Clear? Okay. That's it for that. Oh, now then we're listening to thyroid too. Then we have to listen to the neck. So we inspected, we palpated, next comes auscultation. Most of this exam we haven't auscultated yet, but we are going to auscultate the neck. So if you're listening for bruits, you usually use the bell side of the stethoscope. If I can see that the opening is in the wrong place, I might take a point off. So make sure that the opening is facing the area that you're actually listening with. So I'm going to listen over the thyroid. And then I'm going to listen over the carotids. And I'm going to ask you to take a breath in and hold it. Let it out. Again, take a breath in. Hold it. Why did I ask him to take a breath in first?
Because otherwise you will see the sound of air passing through trachea.
Because I'll hear the sound, but I could have just asked him to hold his breath. But if he's on the way out, and I'm taking my time doing it, next thing I know, he's gonna in the middle of my listening. So if I ask him to take a big breath first and then hold it, now he's got enough oxygen to make it through my exam. Okay? We'll come back to that when we get to the lung things and heart things. All right, thank you very much. That's it for the exam part. So, I'm not going to answer what is the appropriate exam for these, because the whole point of these questions is for you to work out for yourselves what is the appropriate exam for a patient with
Oh,
decreased.
if you are doing the exam, we have to wash our hand or put on gloves.
Yes, thank you, yes.
When?
We will probably give you hand sanitizer, but there aren't sinks and all of this. But yes, thank you. And I should have done that, and I apologize. So, you need to have an appropriate exam for these 4 different scenarios. And then you need to also be able to describe any of the things on that list. Okay? And I'm not gonna answer those because that's your work.
Oh, so if I ask you, can you give an example, you wouldn't?
I will maybe give you a simple example, let's see. Okay, jaundice. If I ask you to describe jaundice, then you can probably tell me. What would that be?
Yellowing of the
Yellow skin and
conjunctivitis.
yellow eyes. Does the skin alone is not enough for jaundice. Where else could I look for jaundice? Probably one. Palms is still skin. Where else could I look? Conjunctivitis sclera.
The mouth?
Under the tongue.
Under the
There is yellow under the tongue.
Can be, yes.
jaundice.
Okay?
Yellow
Good idea?
Yellow on the side.
That's what the jaundice is.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna be asked to do the whole exam, just whatever pertains to that particular scenario.
Yes.
So just it, not everything.
That's what you would do for this problem, this focused thing. That you wouldn't necessarily do on some other, right? The ones that you need to know about for this problem. Okay?
What physical exam we have to do to
You are to
Find out.
perform the physical exam you would do for that, a person with that problem.
like for hearing loss
I'm
with
not
the
gonna answer this,
with the
I'm not gonna answer.
Know everything, know how to do everything.
Yeah, you don't have to know how to do everything, because we might ask you any part of it.
Oh.
Nobody's gonna do this whole thing.
Would the partner act like he knows what kind of, say, condition?
Say again.
Say that, would you, if I'm examining and my partner is the patient, would the patient know what kind of condition you're going to act? Meaning that you pretend that you have told. No.
It doesn't have anything to do with it, because the patient's not gonna speak, except to say what you told them in their.
So you will tell us.
I see what you're saying. No, you will be asked to perform the appropriate exam for a patient with right facial pain and rhinorrhea.
Oh, okay, so the patient not gonna.
The patient is not gonna say, oh, I have pain here, no, that's not gonna happen. Okay?
But act on behalf of. That's what I meant.
So
Yes.
what?
We don't have, that, we'd have to train you all to be standardized patients. Wait, but that does bring up an important thing. When someone is examining you, for example, on this one, probably the most common one would be you stick your tongue out before they asked you to. Don't do that. Like, sometimes it's hard not to, especially if you've been practicing, you're used to it already. But try not to give your partner the next movement. Okay? So, like, don't open your mouth before they tell you to open your mouth. Don't stick your tongue out before they say to stick your tongue out. Don't move your eyes before they actually tell you to do something. Yes. Any other questions?
Yeah, for the vital signs, we have to do the temperature.
Say, what does it say?
Just say what they can.
You
Just say it,
Should state, would take temperature. I would take the temperature.
but I don't do it.
You don't do it.
Okay.
We have to bring thermometer.
Why are you time?
No.
No, we have to bring thermometer.
You're not gonna take the test.
You're not gonna take the temperature. You're just gonna say that you will take the temperature. Oh, will you be time? Yeah. 30 minutes.
If it's complex at all, you might, they might review.
So we don't have to take a history.
We're not doing head to toe, right? We're
Not
doing
head
up
to
to
toe.
here. We're doing the head to
I
neck.
meant to say head, neck, and
We're
skin.
gonna have
No one
patient-
is gonna do the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
You're giving
Either one.
You will do some part
So we
of
don't have
this
to do the whole
list
thing.
of questions. No one's doing all of it. But you have to be ready to do all of it because you don't know which part we're gonna ask you to do.
And
So if you can't do the whole thing in half an hour, that's okay. You only have to do about half of it. Let me put that a simpler way. If you can do this whole thing in an hour, you're good.
This exam,
Yeah.
we supposed to be doing all, wait for us to do all of it, or they going to tell us do the eye, do whatever?
Show me the examination of the eye.
Oh,
Show me the examination of the ear. Show me the examination of the neck. Show me the examination of the skin, head, and nail.
all right, that's good.
Do the appropriate examination for a patient with whatever.
that's on top of
That's
the
another
exam,
step.
right? That's on top of the exam. that
I'm
is
just gonna give you a
Okay, you
scenario
will
and
get-
then you can know what.
This class worries more than any class so far. Okay, you will get some bunch of these questions, the ones with the little boxes, right? Then, after you're done with that part, you will be asked to do one of these scenarios, just one. Show me the appropriate examination for a patient with whatever, okay? Then, you will be given two things from this list to describe. Then you're done.
So the exam is 3 parts, like, you know, it's,
Yes,
Yeah, kind of
3
three parts.
parts. Oh my God, it's overwhelming.
No, it's not
Because with-
overwhelming. I thought that you're gonna give scenario.
Yeah, and then we answer, that's it.
What I.
That's what we thought. Like.
Show me the examination of this. We need to
Okay.
make sure you can do it all. We also want you to think in terms of, when don't you do it all? When would you do specific things? Okay, and then we wanna make sure that you know what all these things are. So we will take any two and ask you to describe them. Okay? What we used to do is just this part, and we had, and it was longer in those days. There was a lot of lists. People would just get there and recite this list. And it was very clear to me that they had memorized the list, but they had no idea what they were talking about. And if you asked them, what is that, they would say, I don't know. So we decided to change how we do it. We would give you a focused exam and also ask you to explain things from the list. So they actually learn something, which is the point of the exam, right? It's not really to give you a grade, it's to make you learn something.
There is no written part.
There is no written part until you get to PD lecture, then there's a written part.
Written part into the lecture.
Sorry?
Written part into the lecture? Or how to-
Yes, there might be some things that you've learned in PD lab that appear on the PD lecture exam. I don't know, that's Dr. Garfield department. Yes,
Could you explain the clinical questions? Like,
explain them how.
you will be asked to describe two from the following list of abnormalities. So, lesions you might see on the fundoscope, like a hemorrhage. Like, what do you mean?
So what does a hemorrhage in the fundus look like? And you have to describe it. Yeah?
Read bits.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, for the eyelids, do we have to check it inside, like, to flip?
It's not on there, you don't have to do it. Doesn't say avert the eyelid, it just says inspect the eyelid. Yes, because you should be using your right eye, your right hand to examine the patient's right eye, your left hand